You know that southerner you caught intimidating farmers by Far End last week? He's been spotted again. Over by the marshes this time.
Impossible. He's dead now. It must be someone else.
Evidently not. Word has it he's threatening to kill any of the locals not accepting his offers.
That sounds like him. I'm going out to finish that job as soon as I can.
If there's something you need, I'm probably not the one to talk to, but I can point you in the right direction.
Mind if we talk?
Not at all. What's on your mind?
Like to know more about your past.
There's not a whole lot left to tell. What did you want to know?
You'll find the orcs that killed your father.
No. I tracked them for several days, through forest, swamp, and highland. But after some time the trail turned cold. However, even at that age I knew my limits. I couldn't take on an entire orc brigade alone, no matter how much I wanted to. So, while it was far from my first choice, my father remains unavenged.
How'd you end up in the Shire?
I spent quite a few years wandering Middle Nirn, tracking orcs, aiding villagers, and occasionally stopping in with the elves and receiving the latest news of happenings elsewhere. Eventually, when I heard the need for rangers in the Shire was growing, I came here to help. Given my father's description of the Shire when I was younger, it had always been a land I wanted to see. But now that I'm here, I think he may have oversold it.
Your father had been to the Shire?
Several times. It was one of his favorite places to travel. He wasn't stationed here like we are, but he stopped in every once in a while. Quite honestly, I'm not sure what he saw in this land.
That's all I wanted to know.
Sure thing. Not at all. What's on your mind? I'm going to be honest with you. Earlier, when I described how my father died, I may not have told you everything. In truth, he was still very much alive when I found myself conscious, but the blade that pierced his back prevented him from speaking. I still remember how the pain he displayed turned into a bittersweet smile upon seeing me alive. He laid there, trying to tell me something before he parted, but no words escaped his lips. When he realized he could not speak, he managed to raise his arm and point to a small chest by the fireplace. And that was the last thing he ever did. Then I watched him die. The chest he'd pointed at was where he kept all of his treasured belongings. But when I opened it, only one thing remained, my mother's amulet. Father gave it to her on the day they were wed, and she didn't stop wearing it until the hour she passed. Or so I was told. I never met her.
Maybe I could find something if I looked at it.
I don't know what you think you'll find, but go ahead. Just, if you don't find anything, be sure to bring it back. It has a certain sentimental value to me. See you.
Or maybe not.
Huh? Not at all. What's on your mind? I'm not a fan of rushing these talks. Perhaps we can discuss it sometime later.
Oh hey, did you need something?
Now that that's over.
Mind if we talk?
Not at all. What's on your mind?
Like to know about your past.
Last time, I briefly covered the defence of a few farmers. Well, shortly afterward, my parents travelled to Riverfell. That's actually where they would drop me off, whenever they needed to go where it was too dangerous for children. Sometimes they would be gone for several months, other times only a few days. But regardless, I spent a considerable amount of time in Riverfell, studying under the elves. They were quite acceptive of me, actually, and treated me much as a pupil of theirs. They taught a great many things, most of which I seem to have forgotten, but among them were certain elven songs, traditions, and medicine.
How well can you apply elvish medicine?
I'm one of the few non-elves who can. It was a topic of much interest to me back in my young years, and the elves were eager to show me the basics. I cannot claim to apply it as well as they can, but I'd wager I'm not very far behind.
Is there anything special about this amulet?
I'm afraid jewellery is far from my area of expertise. You might want to try Durusk. He used to smith necklaces and amulets in his earlier years. Not at all. What's on your mind? Well, occasionally in Riverfell, the elves allowed me to tend to the wounds of wandering adventurers who'd make a stop in the elven city. They were surprised with how quickly I grasped their techniques, and didn't want that talent to go to waste, I suppose. Over time, they permitted me to see more and more of the wounded or injured, but I'd be lying if I said they came in at a frequent rate. About once a month or so. But then again, it is difficult to keep track of time when in the presence of elves. One evening, however, a particular ranger of importance came to us after being wounded in the shoulder by a pack of orcs. Estriel was his name, and I was fortunate enough to tend his wounds.
How is this man of importance?
Well, perhaps you shouldn't know. Not yet. There is a time for everything, but the hour for you to know this has not yet come to pass.
Alright.
Sure.
Is there something you're trying to say?
Anything special about this amulet?
Let me see. I haven't seen an amulet with this craftsmanship in a long while.
It's possible there's some kind of message or something on it?
That wouldn't be unheard of, unless this is just a cheap replica. I'd guess the crafter of this piece was an elf. And if that's true, then there may be some kind of rune etched on it somewhere.
Well, is there?
Strangely enough, it hints at a location where the Brarywine River and the Scrag Dells meet, which would be somewhere in the northern part of the Shire. I didn't think the elves had much of a fascination with us, but then again, it's also possible this was made by a ranger.
Thanks for your help.
Always a pleasure to look upon genuine elven handiwork. If you find any more, be sure to bring them by. Huh?
Mind if we talk?
I suppose I have some time. What about?
I'd like to know about your past.
And what business of yours would that be anyway? I won't reveal my mistakes, just as I never asked for yours. The future is what you should concern yourself with, not the past.
Sometimes the past repeats itself. I should know, just in case it does.
For your sake, you'd better hope the past doesn't repeat itself. But in either case, trust me when I say you're better off not knowing. Now, is there something else we could talk about?
You don't talk much.
Trust me, I talk more often than I'd prefer. That's the problem with all these young Nunamorians and newcomers around. Everyone wants a conversation.
Yeah, I don't talk much either.
I hope you recognize the irony of your predicament. Now, I assume you had a better reason for talking with me? Haven't we already covered this? My past is my own, and I intend to keep it that way. Besides, you don't really want to know.
Couldn't be that bad.
Why must you persist like this? It's not enough to say I refuse to speak of such times. You are much too curious for your own good, Outlander. I suppose I have some time. What about? What is it with you? This is the 4th time you've brought this up. I've attempted to handle this professionally, but you consistently fail to understand. Let us leave it at that, shall we?
Well, that remorse is gonna consume you one day if you don't let someone help.
What concern is it of yours, anyway? If they're my troubles, then I will face them alone. I am not one to sit back while others fix my problems for me.
I'll just see how long it is before I break you.
So this is some kind of challenge to you? Don't you have anything better to do with your time? Regardless, I will say no more about it. I have grown weary of trying to explain my reasoning to stubborn folk. I suppose I have some time. You're never going to give it a rest, are you? Fine. I've grown tired of trying to explain why you wouldn't want to know anyway. If you want to uncover the secrets of my past, I'll no longer stop you. Speak to Thorman about it. He knows the story well enough. But just a word of warning, you won't like what you hear.
Alright.
See you.
Yes?
Doris discovered a rune on your amulet etched behind the jaw.
What? Let me see that. Father, you sly fox. The amulet mentions a cave in the north. I don't know what he tried to tell me before he died, but I'm certain this will be the answer to my questions. I can't thank you enough, Outlander. As soon as Thorman permits it, I'll set out for this location. I'm forever in your debt.
I couldn't help but overhear. Durisk told you to talk with Thorman, didn't he?
Yeah.
I couldn't help but overhear. Durisk told you to talk with Thorman, didn't he? Well, not even Thorman knows the whole story. Durisk most likely just wanted to shove you off.
You know something?
He doesn't. Not since he arrived here, at least. But his legend was widely known to most rangers throughout Ariador at the time in which his deeds were done. Fortunately, word of it never reached Thorman, Foradant, or Tinruth, and I often suspect this to be reason enough the Council would assign him here.
What happened?
Well, I'm not entirely certain I should betray his trust. If he wants you to know, he should be the one to tell you. I just didn't want you to fall for his little ruse there.
You wouldn't have stopped me if you didn't want me to know.
No, I don't think that would be a good idea. It's a sensitive matter, and I don't want Durisk taking it the wrong way.
I suppose I have some time. What about? Outlander.
Why did you try and deceive me by sending me to Thorman?
You figured it out. Should have suspected you would, I suppose. You've always been a persistent one.
What's the actual story?
You are not entitled to know of my past, but Perhaps you should. I haven't told anyone what truly happened, even my closest of allies, for quite a long time. But on account of the trust Buyer Sale has in you, and that of my own, I believe it may be best if you knew. Believe it or not, I was no more than a farm boy at one point. But I quickly grew bored of the simple life and domestic chores, and began to long for the exciting life of a ranger. I had grown quick, strong, and lean from working as a farmer's boy. Many important rangers showed interest in adopting the promising boy as their novice. I felt a connection to a particular respected ranger of high rank, who was known for his strict training regime and field results. Within weeks, I left my birthplace to train under my new mentor. I became a consummate warrior, highly skilled in diverse tactics and strategies, and proficient with any weapons I came into contact with. I completely relied on my mentor. I slept, ate, fought, marched, and rested only when he commanded it. In reward for this reign of discipline, I trusted this mentor. My loyalty surpassed all else, including love for my family or laws. News of our bond spread throughout the ranger communities, and we were an example for aspiring ranger novices everywhere. Of course, my mentor was well aware of his influence over me. Over the years, he had grown unsatisfied by the rules and laws of the rangers. He proposed a more radical policy: eradicate any threat from former Arnthor completely. He moved from a world of grays to one of black and white. Either you were a foe or an ally. There was no middle ground. With my help, he began to exact a ruthless campaign against the dangers of both wild and civilization. My moral compass was replaced by my mentor's will, and I performed any command he uttered without remorse. The Ranger Council eventually heard about our campaign and sent out 2 parties to take in my mentor. By his command, I killed the first in battle and led the second party into a deadly trap. Luck was on the Council's side when my mentor walked into an ambush and was finally captured. Even then, I thought the Council to be traitors and feeble men. My mentor had become my world, and vice versa. I did not see the evil in his actions. It took some years to make me see how corrupted my mentor had become. Only then did I understand my own faults, and I was afraid of what I was capable of. The Council did not want to waste my martial prowess, and eventually they sent me here.
So what's your regret?
I killed a lot of people. Not just the bandits, but their families and friends, too. And those who I didn't kill immediately, I drove from their homes and burned their possessions into nothing more than piles of ash. Some of them were innocent, some were not, but I couldn't tell the difference all the same. If they were suspected of opposing us, I struck them down without sparing a second thought. It was only after the Council opened my eyes that I began to see not everyone I killed deserved death. And now their innocent faces, stricken with fear and pleas for mercy, are all I can remember. They pop into my head every day. I find it impossible to shut them out. But you have what you came for. You learned of my past, but I have no will to recall these events anymore. Let us return to the dangers that the Shire currently faces. Yes? I suppose I have some time. What about? Sure.
Well, we found out his past. There's no quest.
Oh, we're going this way now?
What do you want? Not at all. What's on your mind? There's a lot to do. How about some time later?
see you.
Hello.
Not at all. What's on your mind? I'm not a fan of rushing these talks. Perhaps we can discuss it sometime later. Now that that's over.
Be brief. I thought you had agreed with me that patience is the key when it comes to securing peace for the Shine. Yet it has come to my attention that you have also complied with Thoradon's wishes to act without restraint. Which do you believe? Or were you just attempting to play all sides? Either way, I find it difficult to respect someone whose opinions change as often as the weather. What are the specifics? You'll have to forgive me if I seem overly suspicious, but what business is that of yours?
Just curious.
Yes, perhaps you are. I guess it's only fair if we start at the beginning. I wasn't born in the Shire, but rather far beyond its southern borders. There I grew up, born into the race of the Dunedain, and destined to be a ranger in my later years. But at that time I was just a normal kid, and I got into trouble just as well as the rest of them.
Such as?
I can recall one time specifically. We stole all of the livestock off the local farm and snuck them into one of our neighbors' houses. What was that we used to call him? It was, Grouchy Ned. Anyways, Grouchy Ned awoke the next morning by a startled pony, which we had tied to his leg the night before, dragging him across his house. The next thing anyone in the town knew, there came cranky old Ned crashing out his kitchen window, chicken feathers and expensive silverware bursting into the street afterward. Needless to say, it wasn't long before he found the two little rascals that set the whole thing up. Both of us had the pleasure of working for Ned to pay off the damage we caused.
Two of you?
I had a good friend back then. That was a long time ago. It would be best not to dwell in the past for an extensive period of time, lest we forget our current danger.
What happened to this friend?
That is none of your concern. If you'll excuse me, more important matters await.
I'll take my leave.
Good. We still have work to do. Sure.
Okay. I don't think there's anything else I can do.
Keeping busy, I hope. The biggest part of handling such a tool is to recognize the proper time to strike. I'll teach you how. Sure. Hey.
Is there something you need?
with some man named Turkov.
You did? What did he have to say?
Offered me a position in his organization.
Did he? And how did you respond?
I declined and expressed my loyalty to the Rangers. He's the one responsible for the troubles in the Shire.
It is as I suspected. How low the mighty have fallen. Alas, he has made up his mind. And I stand by mine. Such a pity that it has come to this. He must be stopped.
He also told me to tell you, my bonds are loose and loyalty free.
So, he has become one with the Dark Nenamorians. That would explain his change in name. There's no doubt with this he informed you of our bond, our brotherhood. I see no reason to hide it any longer. He is my younger brother. Or, he was, at least. Whatever you want to know about this, we can discuss it later. No more secrets. But now, we must focus on Durkoth's plans.
Apparently his plans are to enslave the inhabitants of the Shire, including us.
By the stars! Does he think himself a ruler? Oh, such folly. Not to mention hubris. He must be stopped. We cannot allow this to happen. I will inform the others. At least now we understand what he is working towards. How did he come up with such a radical plan?
Believes he's saving the Shire.
I should have known it would come to this. It would seem I am the cause of recent events. But I cannot pity my decisions now, for this moment calls for action. Speak your piece. You did? Did he? And how did you It is as I... Alas, he is... So, there's no doubt, I see no reason. Whatever you want to know about this, we can discuss it later. But... Oh, such folly. Not to mention hubris. He must be stopped. We cannot allow this to happen. I will inform the others. At least now we understand what he is working towards. How did he come up with such a radical plan? I should have known it would come to this. It would seem I am the cause of recent events. But I cannot pity my decisions now, for this moment calls for action.
I found the enemy's lair. I tracked Durkoth after he spoke with the outsider. He dwells in an old tower near the Huckleberry Ferry. We know where he hides now.
A tower? There's no tower down there. That's impossible.
How much are you willing to place on that statement, Captain? A spell of concealment rests upon its gate. Only through dark speech does the structure appear visible. Luckily, I overheard the entrance riddle. Fulgat Izgu Suringat, Durbat Izgu Azat.
To dwell we gather, to rule we kill. That is the translation to those words. But you found Durkoth's lair. That is most excellent news. We can end this right now. Assemble the Rangers. Let us prepare to assault our enemy's hideout. Outlander, if there's something you wish to say before we go, I'd suggest you do it now. You may not get another chance.
Hold on, I need some time. Talk to the others before we leave.
Make it quick. Yep.
Report encounter with Durkov to Thorman. I didn't do that. Zora. Gonna go and get Zora back.
You know, there's just something about fire. It's so compelling to look at, to play with. Great at keeping up on current events. I just feel that other things are more important. Uncovering the secrets of Aetherius, for example.
Really should have a gate there, shouldn't they?
Snow falls silently, like a feather. The overwhelming silence of its presence never ceases to amaze me. What a view.
Suppose I should have jumped on a horse, shouldn't I? Hello.
Greetings, Breton. Perhaps you're just the sort who could help me. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Celsas, lawman of House Telvanni.
Celsas.
I am currently on my way to Rivenspire in High Rock to meet with a superior of mine, Helseth Wren. I left Port Telvannis a few weeks ago now, and it has been a long journey, and it will be longer still. You see, I am not so familiar with Skyrim. I've hardly ever left Morrowind, save for the occasional trip back to Blackmarsh. I was wondering if perhaps you'd be willing to escort me to High Rock. I understand the only way there by land from here is through Hammerfell. You don't need to escort me the whole way. The Hammerfell gate would be more than sufficient, respecting your time.
Sure, I can escort you for a bit.
Fantastic. Here, I brought this from Morrowind. See it as a prepay for services rendered.
What is it?
Telvanni Bug Musk. It is a perfume of sorts, made using the scent glands of beetles. It does wonders in terms of getting people to like you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's be off then.
Okay.
Wealth beyond
Let
measure.
me give you some room.
You killed Ulduin. I can barely believe it. You
truly are Dragonborn.
Yes, my Thane.
Do you have a moment?
Of course. Very well. Let's get going.
What are you thinking?
There is still much of Skyrim I wish to see. I'll guard you with my life.
Okay. Cell says. Oh. Since we're in.
Greetings, Breton. My name is Celsass, lawman of House Telvanni.
House Telvanni? Like Morrowind, right? My name is Remiel, by the way. Quick question, what exactly is a lawman?
You'd be correct. A lawman is a rank within House Telvanni. Took me some years to achieve, however, it comes with its privileges. So, Remiel, why are you and our friend here traveling together?
Oh, well, they're rather capable, and I have different skills. They're kind enough to escort me through Dwemer ruins.
Ah, yes. I hear there are lots of them in Skyrim. Quite different from the ones back in Morrowind.
Oh? They're fairly different from those in High Rock, too. Maybe someday I'll be able to compare Morrowinds to High Rocks.
They built most of them out of metal back in Morrowind. I've seen a fair share myself, including Camel Z.
Camel Z? Oh, I've heard stories. Any proper adventurer wants to see that rune. It's so well explored, and yet so much of it remains a secret. I'm so envious.
Oh, I barely scratched the surface of that place. The deeper bits are a real death trap. I'd love to go back, though. I like your outfit, by the way. You look like a proper adventuring type.
Oh. Thanks, and same to you. You look like a proper, Morrowind type.
Thank you. I suppose it does stand out a bit.
I assume Serena's in here.
I told you it would be a dump. Fort Dawnguard. This place is a mess. Somebody should tell that Eastern guy to relax. Vampires don't seem so bad. Just get a little cranky when they're hungry. This place has seen better days, but it doesn't make it any less impressive. Tactical standpoint.
I knew it would come to this one day. I knew. And no one believed. Keep your eyes open.
Maybe she's not here. I don't know where she could be.
Look where you're going. Somehow, this fortress is even more formidable inside. There's an elven child here.
Hello, friend.
Saint Serana?
All right then.
Oh my god. Where the hell was she? She wasn't there before, was she? Damn vampire. Well, she's not a vampire anymore.
Oh? What is it?
Come with me.
I knew you'd miss me.
Right.
Hey there. My name is Serana.
Hello. I'm Remiel. You're a vampire, aren't you?
And do you have a problem with that?
No, probably not. It's just that most vampires I've met are, well, trying to kill me.
Yes, well, I'm sure we'll encounter those types as well. But you don't have to worry about me.
Well, that's a relief. In that case, I just have a few questions.
What sort of questions, exactly?
Well, first of all, how exactly does drinking blood work? Does it go to your stomach? What use is it there?
Wait.
Why does the sun bother you? Is it some side effect of being anemic? And also...
Wait. You clearly have a lot of questions, but they're going to have to wait, okay?
Yes. Sorry. I'll just write them out for later.
Alright.
So, Remiel, you seem comfortable with me being a vampire.
Yep. Why wouldn't I be?
Usually people are more, well, guarded around me.
Oh, well, they're definitely missing out. I have to say, traveling with you has made me fill up my notebooks very quickly.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
You know, the notes I'm always taking. Studying you has been quite an interesting task.
You've been studying me? I'm wondering if I should be offended.
Why would you be offended? You're helping me learn so much. It's really wonderful being around a vampire consistently.
Well, that's not the worst reaction I've gotten, at least.
So... that means I can keep taking notes about you?
I suppose it's not doing any harm. Sure, if it makes you happy.
Okay, great.
Yes, Dragonborn? Sure thing. Do let me know if you need anything. Hey there. My name is Serana.
Are you doing okay, Serana? I mean, after what happened with your father?
I'm sorry. Wait. How did you know? I never said anything about being a vampire. Don't I look mostly like a normal Nord girl to you?
I would recognize your smell anywhere. Okay. You
There
smell
doesn't seem to
hungry.
be very many
I
vampire
hope
hunters,
you
does
don't
there?
want to suck my blood.
Interesting. I've never really been sniffed out before. And yes, just to confirm your suspicions, I am a vampire. But I'm not that kind of vampire. The blood-sucking, monstrous fiend you're probably thinking about. I don't have any interest right now in sucking out your blood. Nor, I don't think I ever will. Let's just say, I eat bad people. And
Yes, my Thane.
I don't think you're one of them.
I am pleased to meet you. My name is Inigo.
Likewise. I'm
Let's
feeling
go.
very conflicted. I'll be alright. I just need some time. Thanks for asking.
Okay. I'm not the best at this, but I want to be here for you. Just because your father was evil doesn't mean you don't feel... I mean, he wasn't evil. Well, he was, but I shouldn't say.
I get it, Remy. I appreciate your intentions, but I don't feel much like talking right now.
Okay. That makes sense. If you want to talk about anything, I'd be happy to.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
I'm here to help. Of course.
You alright? You've been quiet.
I'm sorry. I'm fine. Just thinking. We've stopped. What is it?
Let's part ways.
I'll be back at your house if you need me, Thane.
No, that's a beard.
What now?
The hell are you talking to? Ghost?
This is what I've got. This better not... Ugh. Just do whatever you have to do.
Right. I did the wrong ones.
Sure thing. Do you have anything that I could use?
Let's make some more stories. Right behind you.
It's actually not bad. Oh my god, where's trade?
So, what have you got? Okay, let's see what you have. What have you got? What do you have for me? Perhaps something worthy for my royal arsenal.
Stay with that.
Ready when you are.
Got some feathers in your hair or something, but anyway.
I wonder what's so important in that cave. Can't be that important if he's sending a couple of strangers off to investigate.